commentary on top of that video, because I tend to make these commentary videos quite late at night, and I'll die again, yes, but I still get a kill. And I don't really feel that I can contribute or commentate as well as I can do normally if I'm commentating at the same time. Although I'm still finding myself be a little bit distracted by the video. Maybe I should just turn it off next time. I don't know. We'll see. Let me know how it goes anyway. Let me know what you guys think. So yes, we've discussed his new patch notes, my thoughts on it. Again, I'm reaffirming my belief that hybrid Teemo is pretty much the only way to play him. I honestly, guys, if you're playing a DPS Teemo, you're better off playing as an Ashe, or I don't know, a Tristana, because your mushrooms, what else there? Your mushrooms essentially would just be anti-gank mechanisms, and you want them to be more so than that. You want them to do damage, and with AP builds you can do that. But again, as I said, your overall DPS will still be reduced significantly, and if you go pure AD or AP, you can be negated quite easily by stacking the necessary magic resist or armor. Yes, so these are my thoughts on why Teemo should be played hybrid. As to overall tactics or strategy even, placing mushrooms in the lane after you've pushed it right in the middle of the creep path is always a good way to keep that lane pushed at all times. It means that you don't need to be there to keep that lane, keep the pressure up on that lane, so you can be elsewhere in the team fight, for example. And that also means that eventually, after a while, if both teams are engaged in a standoff, and like the entire team is engaged in a standoff, after a while, the lane that you've laid mushrooms in will be pushed by themselves in your favor, just because the creep waves don't have time to push back onto your side, that is. Now, if we just watch this fight for a moment, we'll see that it gets a bit hairy for our Shen. I think he does die. Yes, he does die. You find out I've bought Berserker's Greaves this time because I'm still tweaking my Teemo build, my hybrid Teemo build. Boots of Swiftness or Boots of Mobility were almost standard picks for me, unless of course we are facing a heavy caster team. But I want to try the Berserker's Greaves in this game because I wanted the extra attack speed. I won't lie to you, attack speed is always good if you have the AP or attack damage to back it up with. There's no point having a attack damage of over 2.0 if you have just a standard base attack damage or AP, because then you might as well just be flinging rocks. You'd be like a rock flinging machine gun. I don't know why I said that, but yeah, you get my point anyway. So yes, I tried the Berserker's Greaves. In this game, I also build a Natchez Tooth as my last commentary. I'm trying to stay away from the stacking of Hextech Gunblades because they're really expensive. Okay, but I still like to build one first. It gives, because it's just a given if you're going to go build a hybrid build. So yes, I build Berserker's Greaves, Hextech Gunblade, Natchez Tooth. I always buy recurve bow, and this is something I also recommend you guys start buying after your first or second full item, maybe even after your first item as well, just for the extra DPS. Because after you get the Hextech Gunblade, with the increase of the toxic shot upfront damage, you'll be doing a lot more damage, and with a recurve bow, more so. So I build a recurve bow into a Madrid, and yes, I think that's pretty much what I managed to build in this game. But you see that anyway later on. with the new Malady, I have built it once on Teemo since the new patch, and it is really it's a better item than the old Malady. Let's face it, the old Malady sucked balls. However, it's still really team. It really depends on what the enemy team is stacking. For example, if they're not stacking magic resist, which I do check in this game, and you need to check in your games as well. If they are stacking magic resist, then Malady is a good item to have. If you aren't the only DPS on your team, i.e., if you are the only DPS in your team, for example, you are the carry, then Malady might not be such a good idea. There are probably better items to maximize your damage output in a game such as that. However, in this game, you see that we have a Fiddlesticks, a Xinjiao, and a Teemo as the DPS and mages. So really, if they were stacking magic resist, I might have bought Malady on Teemo instead of say a Natchez 2. Of course, a Malady is cheaper, Natchez 2 is more expensive, and watch me get killed by Carly because I is stupid and ran into the river when I was like less than half health. So it didn't happen that often in this game. I promise. Anyway, as I was saying, you see here Nash's Tooth, a little bit expensive, but you get the overall benefits, especially with the reduced cooldown on your mushrooms. Very handy to have. So my first, between the two, I choose Nash's Tooth, but depending on the enemy team composition and what resistances they're stacking, I might be tempted to go for Malady. Put it simply. Now with the fifth and sixth item, it's always handy to build some sort of defensive item on there. I've seen DPS Teemos build Frozen Mallet, and that's a very solid choice indeed. It means you basically get a free red buff with your auto attacks, which means you're going to be slowing down targets, making chasing a lot easier. Banshee's Veil is also a solid choice. I don't know what I would go for all the time, to be fair, like it's standard build. It really would depend on the enemy team. I have toyed with the idea of a Zhonya's ring as well. That's also, again, a very solid build if you're building AP Teemo or even hybrid in this case, because with the Zhonya's ring, you would have the active ability of being invulnerable, and that's very handy to have. Let's be honest. If they can focus on someone else for around 2 seconds, however long it takes for Zhonya's to stay alive. Oh my god, that's close. Then that's just all the more power to you. Plus the AP boost is something that you really should consider. God, yes. Now, masteries. I like to go for a 9-21-0 mastery build. I rarely go with the full 21 in the offensive tree, because as you saw in that previous team fight, the extra boost you get from the defensive tree does make a difference. Not all the time, but enough times that you might not want to swap it out for anything else. So yes, 9-21-0 with the 9 points in the offensive tree, the 9th point even in the magic penetration slot. With my rune pages, I don't know if I said it for last time, but basically I like to go for full armor penetration marks. With the seals, I like to go for, I think, 6 dodge and 3 armor. Now, I can hear you guys thinking, why strange? Why the strange hybrid rune page build there? Why not just go straight up dodge or straight up armor? It's mainly for because during the laning phase, I like to be very aggressive, as you can see from my previous Teemo videos. I like to harass a lot because that's my job as the range DPS in the lane. Okay, your job is to make sure your melee, because you probably will be with a melee champion, your melee champion in your lane can get the last hits. And the only way to do that is to make sure that the enemy isn't going to be there to harass them. So you basically, your job is to zone them out. Because of this, I like to go for I used to because I used to have three flat HP quints. I took one of those out and exchanged that for an armor penetration quint instead. So that gives me a lot of armor penetration at level 1. I know they've nerfed armor pen runes a bit, but personally I don't think it's that big a deal. To be fair, you're still going to be doing a lot of damage at level 1 with Teemo with your poison, and that's key. But to make up for the fact that I don't have the extra, I think